I think it's an interesting situation going on, right? I mean, what's the problem here? I don't understand. Does it take a rocket scientist to figure out that your offense lacks juice and a train mover, right? I think they have a good enough skill group to make things work, but it almost seems like everything has to be so perfect for it to go well. I think Bourne's a guy who saw last year, obviously built a rapport with Mac Jones, somebody who is really good after the catch, somebody you can scheme up, somebody you can play all over the formation. And this is going back now months of like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, and based on all the reports out there today, he was late for a meeting about a month ago, and Matt Patricia didn't like that, and they're still punishing for him. There's another report, too, that they thought he was the fourth wide receiver out of camp. Now, there may be some semantics going on there because they may be factoring in like, hey, he's our fourth best guy because we're going to add, we're going to impact his value, the fact he missed the meeting. And that drops him on our chart, and now he's the fourth best receiver. So, but the crazy, like, that's what's scary to me. If he's benched for disciplinary things, even though Bill said it wasn't, if he's benched for disciplinary reasons, that's not like he shouldn't have been benched. He should be playing. He's their best receiver, but
it's not the time and place either. That's my
but like,
issue.
at least in that case, it's like, all right, you got it over with, right? At least if they bench it for disciplinary reasons, it tells us they still think he's a good player. What scares me is if they really think he's the fourth best receiver for whatever reason, if they really have him as the fourth receiver on the depth chart, that's alarming for a number of reasons. One, he's not. He's just not. He's there. I don't want to say he's the most talented because I think the beauty of, and I'll get into this in a second.
Probably the most versatile.
The beauty of their group, right, is they're all good at different things, but he is the most versatile. He is the most explosive. The other thing is, even if they think he is fourth, which again, I wouldn't agree with, but even if they think he is fourth, I think the beauty of this receiver group, people look at it and say they don't have a real number one. There is a way to use that as a strength. It's Ewing theory. They don't have a real number one, but the gap between 1 and 4 is very minimal. And all 4 guys give you different things. So you can really throw a lot of different looks at a defense by playing with different matchups and different concepts within those matchups, right? The same route combination, if you want to like put 2 routes together, right? Whatever combination, pick one in your head. That combination with Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar has to be defended very differently than the same combination from the same spot on the field with Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers, right? But the only way that's going to work is if all 4 play. They should really be rotating all 4 guys almost equally. So if they think Bourne is the fourth wide receiver, fine. I don't agree, but if they think that, but the fourth wide receiver in this offense, and by the way, even if they think, I don't know, Aguilar's the fourth, the gap in usage between the first and the fourth receiver should not be, it was actually 99%. I believe that Parker played all 100 snaps, I think. If not, he played, Parker played all 100 snaps.
And we're not asking Bourne to play. I didn't think he played 100 last year.
Right. And Bourne only played 4% of the snaps. The gap between those two should not be 96. So hopefully, look, the meeting thing's stupid, and it might have cost them a game. I don't think that it did cost them a game. It might have cost them a game, but if Bourne comes out and has like a 50, 60% usage rate this week, fine, whatever. It was annoying. We're over it. This can't become a trend, though. It can't become a trend.
But I think that's the problem here because you saw Tommy Curran's report, right? And I think he's right in the fact that Belichick wants to give him all the power in the world to make those personnel decisions and have him run the offense as much as he can and at least be hands off until, holy shit, excuse me, but this is getting really out of hand. I need to step in, right? So he's going to give Matt Patricia all the power in the world to do this. Is this Patricia now, like, again, abusing his power in a sense? And like you said, we're not down there. We're not in the building. We're not in the locker room. So God only knows, but just from following the team and being around him, both virtually and in person, like, he's a high energy guy, somebody that all his teammates love, a guy the fans love, somebody that, like I said, brings juice, a game day type of player, plays with a ton of energy. Those are guys you want on the field. And I'm not asking for 100% of the snaps. I don't think that's his usage rate, but I'd be interested to see where he was last year. If it's probably in the 65, 70 range, like at the lowest, that's fine, man. I mean, like this is a
So-
versatile guy, somebody that can help you.
I'll pull it up. His usage rate from last year is a little weird because there were a couple games at the beginning of the year where he was active and he didn't play a ton. And then there was that game at the end of the year where he had COVID, but he didn't play. I'm just trying to find it. His overall usage rate last year was 52%, but I want to find it by game. If you'll just allow me to stall here for a second, because I think this is a good point. Here it is. Okay. So Bourne didn't he didn't play a ton the first 2 weeks. Played about 30 snaps, was targeted 3 times in each of those games. And look, he even admitted, like, it was a bit of a feeling out process for him learning the offense. He wasn't ready, and that's okay. He wasn't ready. The stat I keep going back to with Kendrick Bourne, and I've said it before on the show, we're going to add playtime to it. From week 3 to week 12, it's a 10-game stretch. Kendrick Bourne's on a 17-game pace, like a full season pace, for what he was for 10 weeks last year. 66 catches, 1,013 yards, 18 yards per catch. That's a borderline number 1 receiver. During that span, his usage rate was, it's not going to give me the aggregate. Just going game by game here.
If you don't get Devontae Parker, right, and I think their receiver room
well, just hang on real quick here.
Go ahead, sorry.
Bourne's usage rate during those games, 76 is all percent. 76, 61, 50, 46, 54, 30, but I think that was a game that was like a blowout and they sat a bunch of people. The 30 game was, that was the Chargers game. They ran the ball a ton in that game. But then 53, 43, 45, 55. And then he gets COVID before the Bills game, and he had a couple decent games after that, and his usage was still up in the high 50s, low 60s. He should probably be in the mid 60s this year. Like, that's to me where he should be. And you see, when you give him about 60% snaps, the numbers he can put up are borderline number 1.
And like I said, if you don't get Devontae Parker, and I think their receivers are pretty unique and they can all do different things and they're all kind of have a role. Like, you're going into the offseason in this season with Kendrick Bourne's probably your number 1, right? I know Myers will be the most targeted, but I think he's limited, right? He's not a yak guy. He's a chain mover, somebody that's really good over the middle of the field. I think where Bourne comes into play is you can line him up all over. And you saw it. You come in, that was their biggest play of the day, 41 yards. And it's like this. Those two have a rapport. And he's right off the field after. Didn't get targeted. What did he play? 4 snaps? I don't know if he played 2 after that, and we never saw him again. But you couldn't move the ball. Aside from the first drive, that one play, 3rd down, it felt like we talked about it last week. Don't get behind the chains. They were like that all day. It's just a slop fest. Like I said, every time they go down there, and they repeatedly wouldn't put him in. So put the ego aside, Matt, and get your good players on the field. Play the guys that should play. I'm not a coach, but I think anybody that watches the Patriots, follows the team, covers the team, he's one of your better players and somebody that can bring some juice to that offense. So let's get going on that.
I think the other thing to remember too is then you're playing other guys out of position. Like the play Aguilar ran, the last offensive play, I think it was a dig with the fumble. That's Kendrick Bourne's route. Like last year, that throw, well, sometimes it's Jacoby Myers, but it was Myers or Bourne. Aguilar's not a guy that's used to having the ball in his hands in the middle of the field. Like, that's just not how he plays. That Bourne in that spot is better equipped to handle that situation. So there's a trickle-down effect as well. It makes the other, Bourne not being on the field makes and the same could be true if you really take any of the guys out of the lineup, but it makes the other receivers worse when you take Kendrick Bourne off the field. Again, I don't think he needs 100% usage rate. I really don't. Like, I think
not that type of player.
They should all be, I don't know if this math works, but they should all be at about 70, 75%. Bourne should be there.
So I guess that's our spiel on that. I think, like you said, go into this week, figure out a role for himself. You'd hope Mac has some sort of leeway now and some power in that room to be like, hey, this is my guy. I like throwing to him. We gotta find a way to get him more involved, and they take that. But we're not going to know till Sunday. I think if you go into this game and you see him play, 10, 12 snaps, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, free this guy. Like, if you're not going to play him, someone will. Like, someone would take Kendrick Bourne. We heard about the reports. They were getting calls all training camp before the Thornton injury. And then you have to wonder when he does come back, Thornton comes back, are they going to try to utilize him more? Does that push him down the depth chart? So put it this way, Kendrick Bourne should be getting the same snaps or the same amount of snaps Nelson Aguilar is. And that's no disrespect. Like you said, that dig he fumbles, that's Kendrick Bourne's bread and butter. That's his route. So you got to find a way to get him on the field more consistently, because you have nobody on the field really that can make a play with the ball in their hands after the catch. So